The global economy is at a crucial crossroads, facing both challenges and crises, intertwined and unfolding concurrently. The situation in Eastern Europe remains one of the factors contributing to global instability, determining the continuation of the inflation condition. While affluent economies race to launch generous stimulus packages for their citizens, the U.S. economy has also taken the lead. However, how consumers in the U.S. feel about the economic condition of the world's #1 superpower? Join us on World Affairs as we explore this issue through a fascinating lens: perfume bottles. According to CNN, how consumers are feeling about the health of the U.S. economy and of their own wallets could be showing up in the way we're buying one particular indulgence, perfume. During periods of economic uncertainty, consumer behavior experts say shoppers tend to alter their purchase patterns, especially for discretionary goods. They either switch to cheaper alternatives, cut back on how often they buy a product, or stop buying some products completely. Perfume is no exception to these trends, as cheaper variants are seeing sales shoot through the roof. Demand for more budget-friendly rollable perfumes is up 207% so far this year over last year, followed by a 183% jump in cheaper perfume samplers and a 30% increase in body mists, according to Pattern, an e-commerce platform that analyzes online products search data across multiple product categories on Amazon and elsewhere. And that's just one way in which consumers are pulling back, despite more traditional economic indicators telling a much rosier story. However, why is there an increased demand for affordable mini fragrances? Even during economic downturns, price-conscious shoppers don't completely abandon purchases of pricey pick-me-ups, such as high-end chocolate, perfume, expensive makeup, that make them feel better. This is called the lipstick effect, when consumers spend on small luxuries, even in a downturn. When you look at the economy, consumer confidence is a little shaken right now, and consumers are tightening their purse strings, said Darlene Hatch, a data analyst with Pattern. But similar to the lipstick effect, he said, perfume now seems to be emerging as the new luxury item of choice for shoppers during a period of financial uncertainty. Think of it as the new lipstick indicator of consumer sentiment, said Hatch. A separate report from Circana, a market research firm, showed mini bottles emerging as the leading size of choice for fragrance buyers in the first half of 2023. The report, based on retailer point-of-sale data, said that mini-sized perfume sales have outperformed the category, accounting for 38% of total fragrances sold so far this year, up from 35% last year. Fragrances sized under 1 ounce are selling at 3 times the rate of the total fragrance market. They cost a fraction of the price, about a third of the price of larger size. So these appeal to the consumer that is being cautious with her money, but still looking to treat themselves, said Jacqueline Wenskers, fragrance analyst at Circana. That pace is continuing from last year for the category, the firm noted. And despite jitters about the economy, the report said feel-good indulgence spending has more broadly also elevated sales of both higher-priced prestige and affordable mass-market cosmetics, skincare, and hair care in the first half of 2023 over the previous year. The prestige segment logged sales of $14 billion in the first half of the year, up 15% for the same period a year ago, while the mass beauty market generated $28 billion, up 9% so far this year versus a year ago. The beauty industry is hitting the right notes, meeting consumers' emotional needs through new and existing products, which is especially welcomed at a time when spending power continues to be squeezed. Larissa Jensen, beauty industry advisor at Circana, said in the report. So, Why not opt for cheaper product segments? Overall research indicates that minimal distinctions exist in the perceived importance among 4 motivational factors for purchasing luxury items, including self-reward, gifting, desire for novelty, and product replacement. Nevertheless, the most prominent motivation for purchasing luxury goods among consumers of all ages and in various countries is the desire for self-reward, followed by the urge to acquire a new luxury product. Conversely, buying gifts for friends or family is the least relevant motivation for luxury purchases, especially for Generation Z individuals. The trend of self-indulgence further underscores this generation's self-centric identification. In the upcoming 12 months, the motivations behind luxury purchases are expected to remain relatively stable, with self-reward continuing to hold its position as the top driving factor. Furthermore, according to studies, the majority of consumers view well-established luxury brands as trustworthy. This factor can also drive consumers to choose to spend on expensive items. Conversely, Kearney's survey on consumer trends in 2021-2022 revealed that in China, the previous generations, constituting 59% of respondents, tend to place their trust in local brands. Following this, the Generation Y, Millennials generation in the United States, accounting for 40%, and Germany, accounting for 38%, also demonstrated a similar trend. In addition, according to analyst Crystal Herr, consumer resilience has helped keep the economy strong through the Federal Reserve's interest rate hiking cycle. But is that strength holding, or is it faltering? It depends where you look. From Beyoncé's Renaissance Tour and the Barbenheimer Grace to Taylor Swift Eras shows, U.S. consumers have flexed their spending power even as the economy cools. Consumers have more cash on hand now than before the pandemic, according to a July analysis from the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute. But with inflation still well above the Fed's 2% target, a dollar doesn't go as far as it used to in 2019. Plus, consumer spending, which makes up about 2/3 of the U.S. economic output, grew by just 1.6% in the second quarter, down sharply from 4.2% in the first 3 months of the year. So, what do corporate earnings reveal about the health of the consumer? Here's a roundup of what chief executives have to say. Airlines say consumers are continuing to funnel cash into travel, favoring international trips. Travel from the United States has more than doubled to destinations across the Pacific, airlines reported. The demand for transatlantic flights has also risen. The consumer is in good financial shape, particularly the premium consumer base that we target, Ed Bastian, chief executive of Delta Airlines, said last month. That suggests a continuation of the trend of consumers spending on experiences over goods after being cooped up indoors during the height of the pandemic. The demand environment, especially for leisure travel, continues to be resilient as we have seen solid bookings throughout the busy summer travel season, said Robert Jordan, chief executive of Southwest Airlines, during the company's recent earnings call. Meanwhile, earnings from the dining sector and restaurants paint a mixed picture. Starbucks missed quarterly revenue expectations, even as it reported that more customers are paying up to personalize their beverages and add breakfast sandwiches to their drink orders. Starbucks Rewards members are also buying more, purchasing more frequently, and getting larger sizes, the company said. We are not seeing the downtrading in our customer base, said Starbucks CEO Laxman Narasimhan during the company's August 1st conference call. While Chipotle reported a sales miss in its latest quarter, the company said that demand remains strong. Both the lower-income consumer and our higher-income consumers are showing really good strength, said Ryan Nicol, chief executive of Chipotle, during the company's post-earnings call. Still, that doesn't mean diners don't have a limit when it comes to how much they're willing to spend. Sales at Papa John's North American locations open at least a year fell 1% in the quarter ending on June 25th from a year earlier, weighed down by high prices at the pizza chain's franchises. In another sector, apparel and beauty, Levi Strauss cut its full-year profit outlook to a range of $1.1 to $1.2 per share, from $1.3 to $1.4 per share. The apparel maker also said that it now expects revenue to grow between 1.5 to 2.5%, a slowdown from its previous estimated range of 1.5 to 3%. The company said in its post-earnings conference call that while it's seeing strong demand from customers with incomes above $100,000, not everyone is continuing to spend freely. The macro effects of higher inflation and a slowing U.S. economy have put increased pressure on the price-sensitive consumer, said Chip Bergh, chief executive of Levi Strauss. Still, consumers trading down to cheaper products has helped other companies boost their top lines. Drugstore cosmetic brand Elf Cosmetics said that revenue soared 76% from the prior year in its first quarter earnings results on August 1st and raised its net sales outlook for the year. We're keeping an eye on the consumer environment and the overall macroeconomic environment, but we feel we're very well positioned, said Chief Executive Tarang Amin, noting that the company doesn't plan to raise U.S. prices. And that wraps up the content of today's program. Thank you all for your attentive viewership. Goodbye and see you again.